While by hobby, I spend a lot of time thinking about the future and philosophy. By trade, I'm an SEO, search engine optimization, content, marketing, et cetera, but primarily search engine optimization. Now, this isn't going to be my normal video. It is going to blend a little bit of futurism, but what I want to talk about specifically is what the future of the web, the internet might look like. As an SEO, right now in particular, there's a lot of people talking about and concerned with things like Google's AI overviews, their search generative experience, the AI mode, and just AI tools in general, all of which are absolutely gobbling up informational search. All of the stuff where people are just looking for a simple answer, simple information, and don't want or need to wade through a website, which makes up, by some counts, somewhere between like 60 and 90% of all queries, depending on which data set you look at. That's a pretty big portion of the people searching. That's a huge portion of the SEO bucket, the organic bucket, if you will. So there's a lot of concern as AI starts to gobble up clicks that used to go to these websites. Now, I've talked to a lot of people about what I think is coming there, and I've been harping on this now for years, 2, 3 years. I mean, literally, right after ChatGPT came out, the writing for me was on the wall. And so, what I've been saying recently is look, SEO has maybe another year or two left. And here's why. Now, with OpenAI's Dev Day earlier this week, they announced a couple of things. One is the apps feature, and another is their agent builder. Okay, these two things are really important for what's going to happen next. We've seen a little taste of this with things like AI overviews and people doing their searches and asking questions inside of ChatGPT. One, at some point in the not very distant future, I feel like for most businesses, websites will go away. Websites were never the optimal user interface anyway. They're just what we had to work with for a long time. So people have kind of used what they have. But in most cases, people don't really want to wade through a bunch of pages and a bunch of searches to get what they want. Now they don't have to in a couple of ways. Not only could you just ask ChatGPT to help you figure something out, but with the combo of the apps and the agents, you get a very different experience. So what I anticipate happening in the not terribly distant future is that a lot of businesses are going to go from having websites to really just curating data feeds. And OpenAI's partnership announcement with Shopify and Stripe, I think, is a big part of this. I think for a lot of people, and this will ramp up significantly once Apple gets their shit together and releases some sort of AI experience that isn't garbage. But as soon as this is really baked into mobile devices, and as soon as the capability to do like 90, 95% of what you would have done through websites and browsers is in there and is fluid, I feel like a lot of people are going to shift just because the user experience will be better, it'll be lower lift. It makes a lot of sense to me. So, anyway, here's what's going to happen. Websites, broadly speaking, maybe not for everybody and maybe not for every business, but a lot of websites are just going to go away. The entire like eyeballs on ads thing and affiliate thing, like all of those, if your business is just a thin wrapper around eyeballs on information, you're fucked. Period. But I think most websites are just going to go away. I think ChatGPT will become the new browser, really, and not like a traditional browser in most ways, but that will become how you interface with a lot of the information that's currently on the web and you would currently get to through Chrome or Firefox or Brave or whatever. So it'll become the new browser. However, it's going to be one step further with the agents and the capability that's going to come from these agents. You're going to be doing a lot less. It's going to be humans. How would I phrase this? Human eyeballs on web type content will be greatly diminished because it's going to be agents that are going to go wade through that and narrow things down and make some decisions. So rather than me doing a whole bunch of Google searches around most comfortable bed for side sleepers, most comfortable pillow for side sleepers, how to sleep cooler, like all of the questions that somebody might have around product choices and that whole process that used to be multiple searches, dozens of searches, maybe hundreds of searches, wading through countless web pages and product pages and trying to figure out what you want, what you're going to have as an agent. And over time, as we're already seeing with people who use ChatGPT heavily, it builds up memory, gets to know you, stores key information. And so, as that becomes more capable and as the agents become more capable, it's going to know a lot about you. So, when you pop in there and you say, look, I need the best pillow for a side sleeper with a big head who sleeps hot and has a pretty plush bed, and it's going to be able to go out there and comb through dozens, maybe even hundreds of web pages, maybe more, to actually narrow things down. But not even web pages. I mean, for now, but data feeds, uh, all of the stuff that it's managed to scrape or license, Reddit conversations, reviews, all of these data sources, a human doesn't have to go look at anymore. The AI is going to be able to parse it all and come back to you with a really narrow set of recommendations. And it can take it a step further. I mean, as an agent, you can say, all right, great. Number two in that list of three items, that looks really good, and I'm okay with the price. Go ahead and buy it. And that's it. It takes care of everything else. It shows up at your house. You either like it or you don't like it. If you don't like it, you're probably just going to go right back into chat and be like, hey, I didn't like this pillow. It'll take care of arranging the return, tell you where to drop it off, or maybe just send UPS to come get it. And then you can be like, all right, let's try number one instead. And it orders that because it has the context, it stores that information. You don't have to go hunt for it. You don't have to redo the search. Easy peasy. So I see in the very near future websites going away, businesses running data feeds that have pricing and reviews and product information and pictures and all of that jazz. And most of the businesses currently that monetize just based on eyeballs on than shitty content or affiliate stuff, like they're fucked. So the internet is going to shrink dramatically. And I have to apologize as somebody who's been doing SEO for 20 plus years. Like, I've tried really hard with the clients I've worked with to make the internet a better place, to get them to do the right things for user experience. But SEOs have fucked up the internet so bad. We've made such a mess of things overall. I'm so sorry. There's so many garbage web pages and content that's written just for bots, and it sucks. And so the internet could be a vastly better place if it weren't for SEOs optimizing garbage sites for garbage things. So, mea culpa. I look forward to this. I think it'll be way better rather than having to wade through searches and see a ton of ads and comb through pages to find what you want. Just being able to have a conversation with an AI that knows you really well and your preferences and that you've plugged into key sites and places where you prefer to do your shopping, like all of this stuff, it's going to be such a superior experience. But a lot's going to change. A lot of businesses aren't going to be able to weather this storm. A lot of jobs aren't going to weather this storm. I don't know if my job will weather this storm. I mean, a lot of SEOs are like, oh, people have been saying SEO is going to die forever, blah blah blah. It'll keep going. Man, this is pretty different. And only if you really torture the definition of an SEO and really try and expand your scope out into other people's fiefdoms is it going to persist. Because you're not really going to be optimizing for human eyeballs in search results and content. You're going to have to be doing brand stuff, getting good reviews, uh, cultivating high quality data feeds, making sure things show up right. Like, this is not really SEO stuff. This is other stuff. This is technical stuff. This is brand stuff, PR, social, like a lot of other things. That's not SEO. And SEOs do have a tendency to kind of get their fingers in everybody else's pies, in part because we're at least partially reliant on a lot of other channels. But I really do see the organic channel going away. It's going to be brand and referral traffic and direct and, still some other sources. I imagine you'll still be able to drive revenue through email and other things, but you may not be sending people to your website. You may be sending people to a ChatGPT app. Who knows? But what I'm confident in is the prediction that websites, for the most part, will not persist past another handful of years. I couldn't give you a precise timeline, but I would guess somewhere between another 1 and 2 years, depending on how a couple of things play out. And we're already seeing a lot of shrinkage. Like, again, as an SEO, I have the ability to access so many different client websites, analytics, search console data feeds. Like, I can see into some pretty big brands. Almost everybody has been losing impressions. Almost everybody, their non-brand clicks have been going down. Like, this is everywhere. So it's already happening. I mean, the pool is shrinking, and there's a lot of effort being done to kind of obfuscate this by Google. But yeah, it's definitely the writing's on the wall. And I've been making this case for a while that Google itself is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they make AI good enough to really be competitive and surface that to people, kind of like what they're doing with AI overviews and the AI mode and some of the other stuff they're releasing, they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because in order to do a good job at that, they cut into their ad revenue. And I mean, once people start switching primarily their search experience over to ChatGPT or other AI tools that don't have that ad experience, man, Google's going to get hosed because ads are still what, like 80% of their revenue, 75, something crazy. That's a that's a big pool. So will there be ads in AI tools? Probably. I mean, there's not a lot of that yet. I could see it happening, but I kind of hope it doesn't. And I can see some counters in that as soon as advertising gets baked into those, you lose a lot of trust with the AI tool and your agent because you can no longer, if they put ads in there, you can't really trust that it's recommending the best product for you. Now you have to assume it's recommending the product of whoever's paying. And that really compromises that experience and that trust. So I hope not. I hope OpenAI resists the temptation to put ads inside of ChatGPT. I think it would really harm trust and it would derail at least part of that user experience, but we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, a little bit different from my normal videos, but I expect websites to go away, data feeds to kind of take their place, ChatGPT to really become the browser, and agents to really end up doing a lot of the stuff that you used to do on websites. And then people will go back to doing what they usually do with the rest of their time, which is spend it in various apps, whether that's Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever else the hot potato is at the moment. Anyway, my 2 cents. SEO isn't dead yet, but goddamn, this time I think it's actually dying. Cheers.